This is Empty the Bench with Tom Albano.
He's going to try and make sure that Javonte Williams and Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy all get paid so that way they can actually have a championship team.
Nick Morgeson.
There's other factors. You're talking about black young girls coming up, and not just for tennis. They changed the whole sports dynamic as a whole.
And Nick Federa.
You must understand that sound effect just there. It's about the Benjamins, the dead presidents, the shekels, the green, the shkarola, the money.
Empty the Bench starts now.
Don't disrespect the Bengals. Except this week.
Oops.
Disrespected by way of Evan McPherson and overtime. Welcome to Empty the Bench episode 152. That's Nick Morgeson, Nick Federa. I'm Tom Albano. Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe to the Empty the Bench network. Ring that bell so you get notified for all the shows here on the Empty the Bench network, from us to Beyond the Bench, Game On, MMA Outsiders, and more. We will have a whole lot of discussion about NFL Week 1 coming up. We'll recap the week. We'll preview everything that's going on for Week 2. We'll talk about the MLB making some changes when it comes to its rules and to its minor leagues included in that. But we do have to begin with news that has broken over the last 24-ish hours.
By the way, before we do this, would you say this is bad luck again for this show, as we had it all prepared and prepped out, and then this happens?
Did we piss a witch off or something?
Same as it ever was.
Let me just, again, go behind the curtain so people understand this. The three of us put a show together. You see our promo come out the day before. And then we get a windfall of a story that drops. And by the way, I'm not joking about this story because this is no joke. But we have a story, and now you can drop that banner because now this is crazy. So Suns and Mercury owner Robert Sarver suspended 1 year from both organizations. Well, because he technically owns both organizations. Based on league investigation, Sarver has also been fined $10 million and must complete training. So let me start by prefacing one thing. We talked about this story, what was it, a couple months ago?
Months ago.
Yeah,
I think it's more than a couple. It's been months.
So an investigation started by the NBA and a bunch of former Suns, including, I think, the former coach at the time, Earl Watson, who was a former NBA player, basically came out and said that there was a bunch of issues going on, and from race to sexist to basically this was like, I don't know, Nick. How did you describe this when it happened?
This is white billionaire owner bingo in terms of the bad things that they can do. This is what I like to call, you know what? Let's just call it the Clippers streak. It is, because that's what this is.
Well,
worse,
I'm glad you brought
better.
Good.
Sorry.
I was saying, I'm glad you brought that up because that is going to be a question that I have to ask, because that's the question I have in the center of all of this relating to the Clippers. But go ahead. Let's keep with this story and all of its details right now.
Well, actually, you were bringing up something that I actually was going to bring. Is this better, or I should say better? Is this worse, or is it not as bad compared to the Donald Sterling situation with the Clippers?
Okay, if we're going to go there, then I'm just going to bring my question out. So why is Sarver getting just 1 year and $10 million when Donald Sterling, when upon the audio evidence of him using the N-word multiple times in a conversation, was thrown out of the league?
Well, I'll tell you why. Go to the second banner. So Robert Sarver said the N-word, like you just said, at least 5 times when recounting statement of others, made sex-related inappropriate comments about physical appearance of females and other inappropriate situations that have gone on. So this is actually worse than the Donald Sterling situation. Donald Sterling was one situation with one woman.
So then and this is based on very limited details because I've been running around during our recording session trying to get MMA Outsiders ready, which you saw this morning. I'll just be brutal. the NBA fucked this up.
This literally broke during Game On when we were doing it. When I was producing it, it literally broke during the show.
So in terms of, looking at this, in terms of his conduct, there are just, we love inappropriate jokes, but again, in the workplace where you're dealing with an environment that is a lot, there are a lot of women there and a lot of African American people there. There are certain things you just don't say. There are certain things you shouldn't be thinking either. But again, because apparently the rich white man thought that made him bulletproof and he could basically just bully people around like it was a low rent version of The Apprentice, and anything he could basically do anything he wanted. But it seems to me, and this has come to me within since the story had broke, I really see it seems to me like time has kind of, Adam Silver might not actually believe that what he did with Donald Sterling was the right move. It absolutely was the right move. But who are you protecting with the Suns? I'm not one for conspiracy theorizing.
Well,
but
when we did the story, do you remember a bunch of anonymous names in the reports had come out saying that they had made phone calls to the NBA? And then that started the whole thing, and it's really not a joke. But do you remember the whole bat phone situation when that whole thing happened?
Correct. Yeah.
Well, the logic the thought that just came to my mind as you were describing that, Nick, was that maybe the Donald Sterling move to banish him. Remember, that was Silver's first year as the NBA commissioner.
He was making a statement.
He was trying to maybe just drop the hammer, and maybe he's softened up over time.
No, but here's the issue, though, you're going to run into. Same thing with the Deshaun Watson situation in the NFL. Okay? So if you're going to kick Donald Sterling out, I think they had to take a vote, though, with the owners on whether he was forced to sell. But they eventually came to the conclusion that what he did to that woman was so bad that he was abusing her and doing all this stuff that he had to be kicked out of the league. This is worse. This is way worse than what Donald Sterling does. He should be forced out ASAP and be gone if that's the case.
But exactly, what are you gaining by? Why are you protecting the Suns?
You're not protecting the Suns.
What exactly do you have to gain?
Nick, you're not protecting the Suns. The Suns are on full blast right now because of their owner.
Why are you protecting the Suns' owner?
Yeah, why do you feel the need to protect the Suns' owner? What exactly has he done for you?
You're not protecting the owner,
other than owning a team that went to the East, could compete for a championship.
Well, let me change it then. Nick. Why has your stance basically softened after what you did 10 years ago? You dropped the hammer on Sterling. Why is it on this one you're just doing kind of you're holding back a little bit?
Yeah, you hit him in the head with a fungo bat.
You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking that this is partially just like a placeholder, like that year suspension. I'm guessing, because that will allow them to do more investigating, even more investigating into this situation. And maybe he's talking to the owners behind the scenes. Maybe Mr. Silver is saying, hey, you know what? Maybe we need to get rid of this guy. This guy's been a bully since the time he's entered the league with the Suns.
That was the one thing that was made evidently, just abundantly clear in the report, that this happened the entire time he has owned this team. Systemic abuse for a very long time.
By the way, if you look at every part of this, the N-word, that's a no-no, okay? The sexual related instances, that's a no-no.
The inappropriate jokes, the inappropriate comments, the sexual harassment.
If you remember when we did the story, do you remember the pictures that were coming out as well? That everything was being exposed. First of all, in that situation, it would take like 10 locks and 10 keys to get that stuff out to the internet. Someone obviously had a grudge to go after.
Well, somebody had a point to prove, but it's like, why again? This is why the culture around sports owners is always so infuriating, because they always huddle together and form a human shield to protect their own.
Well, here's the thing that kind of confuses me. Here's the thing that kind of confuses me, where Nick was going, I'm going to take it in a different direction, Nick, where is it that this is the NBA. This is the players-driven league. This is, and precedent has been set. So, yeah, you can say maybe this is a placeholder. Maybe this is a more experienced commissioner.
I'm guessing. I don't know.
You're guessing. But on that logic, it's still maybe a more experienced as a commissioner, Adam Silver. But I'll use the NFL with the Deshaun Watson argument when we talked about Sue Robinson, why she gave 16, because precedent had been set. In this case, the Sterling situation, to me, that is precedent.
I agree with you, and that's why I said, and I'll say it again, and people are not going to be happy with me, Suns fans included, as soon as the investigation happened, and behind the scenes, whenever they proved what he was doing was real, he should have been gone from the league. He should have been forced to sell the team. And to be honest, I think they need to change the rules when it comes to, you should just lose your team if
There's also another element that we're missing here. Donald Sterling's thing was very, very, very public. A decade ago, I mean, it was very, very.
Sarver's situation became public also.
But
are you? You're referring, Nick. You're referring to that the audio leaked from TMZ.
The audio leaked. Blake Griffin said something about it. You had the players chiming in about it. The fact that this was public and became a very strong black guy. I think this was Adam Silver a decade ago saying, I'm going to do everything I can to stop the bleeding right now. But the fact that we had to be reminded just that this was a thing that was still going on before the story had after the story had broken, allowed them to kind of slide away from it.
Let me point out one thing. I
could be entirely wrong.
Let me point out one thing. If they don't do anything else, and this is the punishment that they stay at, that's an atrocity. That's an atrocity. If they don't go and say, hey, you just broke every rule, and I'm not talking about in the world of owners, I'm talking about in the world of normalcy and the world of logic. If you don't do anything, this is a failure on the NBA. It is.
Yeah, and you wouldn't have expected the kind of reputation that Adam Silver has, kind of cultivated for himself. It's like Mr. Big Tough Sheriff in town, and that's not the case anymore. Evidently.
And that's the thing, Nick. Like, I consider it a failure already. This is an NBA investigation. You're saying maybe that they have more investigating to do, but if this is enough to be considered on the level of Donald Sterling,
it's more than Donald Sterling. It's
more
not
than Donald Sterling. Then you should drop the hammer immediately.
Because there were other situations that apparently, like, he was getting involved with what the women were wearing, like with the cheerleaders. Again, with that whole cheerleader situation,
which is just a creep-ass thing to do.
But I think of the Ray Rice situation and how, despite all of those reports, the NFL only gave him 2 games. But then, conveniently, after the evidence came out, when it was already too late, and the NFLPA reminded him it was too late to do any sort of changing.
And by the way, shame on the NFLPA for saying, no, you can't do that. I mean, I don't know. The NBA, by the way, the NBA PA is one of the strongest players associations of all the sports, but the owners have more control. I would say it's closer to a split in the NBA than any other sport. But this whole situation is nuts. He should have been thrown out on the spot when this was proven guilty.
So I'm actually gonna look around on the Twitterverse right now because I want to see if any NBA players are actually chiming in on this.
I think there was a few. I didn't get a chance to look, but while you're looking that up, there's one more. I'll put this up. Woj also had an update on this as well. Well, the NBA says Robert Sarver, quote, cooperated fully with the investigative process. The Suns owner was unaccepting of an idea he deserved a 1-year suspension and a $10 million fine. What?
Of course, he's always going to be dragged kicking and screaming out of this scenario. He was always going to never accept it because in Robert Sarver's mind, he didn't do anything wrong.
I hate to say this, but the evidence is already out there in the public eye.
Again, you don't think like a wealthy basketball team owner. Neither do I. Neither does Tom. Neither does anybody else who is not that guy.
By the way, if you go back to the story as well, his wife threatened a bunch of people not to say anything in the public. Do you remember that?
I remember that.
She should get in trouble too.
This story is just a Matryoshka doll of just terribleness. It's like one of those Russian nesting dolls you get for Christmas.
I don't think this is over. I don't think this is over. I think you're going to see more pieces and more people come out now that there's a punishment in place for public. You're going to see more come out.
And the fact that I just mentioned it's a players-driven league, I don't see too many players, if any at all, really speaking out about this. But this is during the time that we're recording this episode. By the time this episode starts airing tomorrow, I guarantee you, like the first person I went to was LeBron. I said LeBron is going to say something. And I think you're going to see more and more players say something. And if enough players say something, it's going to have to force Adam Silver's hand to go even further.
No. Well, the one argument you're going to have, owners club. Well, I don't care about your owners club. Get the fuck out of here with the owners club. I'm sorry. I don't care. Donald Sterling was thrown out. And by the way, kudos to Adam Silver at the time when he did that, because no other owner, would Roger Goodell have done that? No.
No, but that Adam Silver is not this Adam Silver.
No, but you have to, but wait, time out. At least Adam Silver is quicker to the punishments than any other commissioner in all of sports.
Which is admittedly a low bar, but yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least I understand, and I agree with you, and I'm the first one that will say this punishment is way under the bar to clear here. He should have been thrown out of the league, lost his ownership, and they should even put a bar that he can't even get back into ownership if someone tried to get him back in. But at least he got a year punishment, and like Nick would say, that's a low bar to clear considering what the whole Donald Sterling situation was. He's banned from all events from the Mercury and the Sun. He's not allowed to take any marketing calls, do any money, any business behind the scenes whatsoever. But who cares?
I mean, maybe when we compare it to the league's own situations, like with Donald Sterling, yeah, it looks terrible. Although, admittedly, I mean, look at what going to what we said about Adam Silver, because look at the NFL. How is Jerry Jones still owning a team? How is Robert Kraft still owning a team? How is Dan Snyder being investigated by Congress and all the shit he has done since taking over that team, still owning the Washington Commanders?
It's all about what? Money! Where's my graphic? Money!
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Register.
I mean, that's it. It's all money. I mean, the reason they only suspended him for a year is because they want his ownership money. That's why. They want the taxes. They want the money. They're raising the salary cap. We're going to talk about that in a few moments. All because they're trying to add more games and get more TV revenue out of it. So if they lose an owner, guess what happens? What goes out the door?
Money.
I never thought I'd see the day where the NBA could literally blind people by just making it rain.
I'm serious. It's all money. That's it. If they were thinking with their brains and not what the money in the cash register did, he would have been gone already. That's it. This is a logic versus money debate. And unfortunately, the money is going to win every time.
All right. Shall we move on from this story to other frustrating things in the NBA?
Oh boy, what are we moving on to?
We're moving on to the fact that there are negotiations now underway for a possible mid-season tournament, or in-season, I should say, that would begin not this season, but next season. So how it would work is that there would be basically an in-season tournament that would start in November, and there would be cup games that run all the way through. Eventually, 22 teams will be out and back to normal regular season play, while 8 teams move on in the tournament. Most of actually all of the tournament matchups will count towards a team's 82 regular season games, except the final 2 participants, the teams who make the tournament final. That tournament final counts as an 83rd game.
So what are they competing for, pray tell?
That has not been officially decided yet.
Look at all the failure!
So originally there was this plan months ago that maybe the winner could get an automatic berth into the NBA playoffs. However, now we're looking at potentially just cash prizes for the team and the players.
Of course, because you know what? This has got to be the dumbest fucking idea I've ever seen the NBA come up with, and I've seen a lot. But this is just naked. They're not even trying to dress it up on the. They're not even trying to dress it up under the thin veneer of competition. It's always the owners are just jamming their fists right up the players' asses and seeing how much money they can extract.
I have an idea. How about the winning team gets $1 million, and whichever person on that team is named most valuable player, that's the thing. The money goes to the owner, and then the most valuable player on the team gets a $25 Chili's gift card.
$25 gift card to the Sharper Image.
Sorry. Well, Sharper Image.
That's a joke.
No. And then whoever on the team is voted the least valuable player gets they get a special prize. They get to rent one movie free from Blockbuster.
Oh, I was going to say they get a gift card to Balance of Nature.
Automatic 1-year deal with the Knicks.
Hey, James Dolan would take it.
Let's be honest with ourselves here, folks. It's just, if this was like Premier League style relegation, like if you lose, you all of a sudden go down to the G League.
Nick,
that would maybe be fun in a morbidly curious kind of way.
Nick.
I know, but the fact that you're basically turning the NBA season into fight to the death. Lackeys.
Wait a minute. I want a bare knuckle brawl instead.
I mean, I have to admit though, guys, I kind of like the money idea better than that original concept about potentially the winning team entering the tournament. Because again, we could have seen a 32-50 team make the playoffs just for winning a stupid midseason tournament.
I mean, wait a minute. Do you remember when like a 6-10 team, when it was 16 games, was making the NFL playoffs, and then the team that was 10-6 that didn't make it?
Oh, you're talking about when the Seahawks went like 7-9 and actually won a wild card round game.
And then you had a team,
Panthers.
Who was 10-6? I don't remember, and they didn't make the playoffs. 10-6.
Yeah, the Panthers. Actually, the Panthers in 2014 made the playoffs like 7-8-1.
That's ridiculous. Anyone under 500 shouldn't make the playoffs.
But
you know what? Don't tell Adam Silver that.
Oh, for the most part.
Think about it. If the Knicks go on a hot run in this tournament with that idea,
don't rile yourselves up with that comment.
It's fool's gold, I'm telling you.
I know. No, I don't want it. I don't want a team that has a losing record in the postseason. I mean, sometimes we see that enough when a conference is super weak.
We all know how much conservatives hate participation trophies, but this is the ultimate fucking participation trophy.
You know where I want to put this idea? Down the toilet. This is one of the worst ideas I've heard in my life, and I'll explain it again.
Stupid.
Let me explain this again because I explained it to Johnny and Hank from Game On, which is actually moving to 7 p.m. on Tuesdays. We'll discuss that later. But the way I look at this idea, it's a cash cow. They want more games for TV contracts. They're looking at a sponsor, a clear one sponsor to sponsor the in-season tournament. If we can get Coke, we could get Pepsi.
Balance of nature.
Balance of nature. But you know what it is? It's essentially acting as proctologists for the golden goose. They're reaching in there and trying to pull out the eggs.
Well, the problem is they've already taken out 10 out of 10 eggs, and they're scrapping for the scraps.
I mean, at this point, I don't know how many golden omelets you can make out of this.
Ask LeBron James. He knows all about golden gooses.
But here's the thing. So this is replacing regular season games. It's not going to be in the middle of everything. I mean, it is.
I did hear that.
Replacing regular season games.
Yep.
It's going to count towards the team's 82 games.
Great. I can't wait. This is good.
You know what? Let's appeal to the millennial crowd. Make it guts. Or make it American Gladiators.
Yes!
A mid-season American Gladiators.
No, I said I want a bare-knuckle brawl. I'd rather see them fight to the death instead for a playoff spot.
Let's do all of this and just get rid of the slam dunk contest. Let's get rid of the 3-point contest.
But you know what, though? Adam Silver is essentially telling us to do one thing.
RELAX.
Oh, we'll get to you, dickhead.
No, that's what Adam Silver's essentially saying. Hey, you know what? Just relax.
It's
We're gonna add
all-
we're gonna add a few more games. We're gonna add a few more games. We're gonna put more money in the league's pocket, which is technically the league.
You're jangling keys in front of the in front of the audience's face.
Look at the shiny key. Look at
the shiny new tournament.
Look at this. It's going to have its own sponsor. We're going to be able to make more money off it, which, by the way, goes in the NBA's pockets, not in the players' pockets, because God forbid. But you know what? This tournament's going to be a failure. And then when they realize that the owners are going to revolt against the in-season tournament, they're going to remove it.
I want Charles Barkley's opinion on this because it's got to be some of the most incredulous thoughts I've ever heard.
I'll tell you what it is. It's terrible. TRBL terrible.
TRBL.
You know what, Shaq? It's terrible. TRBL terrible.
So so I think we should have some fun. And we should just spread all these games. You know, we're talking about all these moves to streaming, all these different channels. We should just have this this in-season tournament. You know, like we should limit it to one game per network. So one game is going to be on ESPN, one game be on TBS, and one game on TNT. Then how about we throw a game on Nickelodeon?
A game on Nickelodeon.
The NFL's already doing it.
A game on Amazon Prime. A game on Netflix, a game on Peacock, even though nobody actually has Peacock.
How about a game on the Discovery Channel?
Well, that's Turner, so it's the same thing.
Okay, but that works. It works.
I mean, it's like when they do the Olympics, when they use Bravo, which is because Bravo's technically an NBC affiliated network.
Let's give Bravo a game then. How about we give Fox Business Channel a game?
Let's actually. The NBA already did this. Technically, they used CNN as a gateway channel.
Let's throw one on CNN. How about we throw one on the Game Show Network?
Wait a minute. I can see it now. I can see it. Hello, CNN. This is the NBA.
Or TLC, my 600-pound basketball. My 600 assists per season.
I just want to see Adam Silver, the escape story. I mean, just think about it. You had Tim Donaghy and how that whole Netflix thing is going. And by the way, he actually said he would come on the show. So that's another teaser I'm working on right now. So to talk about that whole documentary and the gambling scandal. But I don't get it. I don't get it. We don't need an in-season tournament. The players don't like the All-Star break to begin with. So now you're going to add an in-season tournament? Really? I don't know. I don't know what works for this.
Brother, this guy stinks.
I'm just gonna do this again.
Well, that too. But I hate to say this because I don't say this very often. Adam Silver stinks. I never say that.
Say it very often. You do.
No, I don't say it about Adam Silver. I usually say it about Roger Goodell, or I say it about Rob Manfred. It's rare.
So are we saying Gary Bettman's the best commissioner now?
No. Hell no,
that
we're
will
not.
Never be true in any parallel universe.
The day that Gary Bettman is the best commissioner of the sport, all the podcasts will freeze over in hell.
We're already in hell, aren't we?
Yeah,
pretty much.
All right. One more basketball story. Just because I want to rile you up, Nick, Jeanie Buss says that she wants LeBron to retire as a Laker. She wants LeBron to be a Laker for the rest of his playing days, no matter how long they may be.
Unless Bronny goes elsewhere, then just prepare yourselves for the possibility of LeBron James, the Minnesota Timberwolf.
How about LeBron James as a member of the Brooklyn Nets?
No. I don't care. I'm a Net fan, and I don't want it there.
If that happened, you would stage a hunger strike in front of the Barclays Center.
I would. I'd literally go out
eating until LeBron James is off this team.
I would literally go out in front of Barclays Center with a sign that says, "I hate you, LeBron James, and I hope that you leave before a game is played." Or actually, you know what? Better yet, I'm going to go out there with a sign that says, "I'd rather have KD than LeBron James."
And we know you mean it. That's the crazy part.
I would. I totally would. First of all, Jeanie Buss is the most delusional owner in all of the NBA, and I didn't think I would say that considering Mark Cuban is an owner in the NBA.
Well, their cap space is fucked for the next I don't know how many years.
I mean, you're still dealing with Russell Westbrook making $46 million a year. And actually, they are paying LeBron James. They gave him the max for 2 years because LeBron needs that money.
They need LeBron more than LeBron needs them. LeBron needs them more than they need LeBron. I should say.
No. You had it right.
You had it right the first time. The Lakers need LeBron. LeBron doesn't need them.
Because you know what? I said it, I think, before, and I'll say it again. This is turning into the new Kobe situation from a decade ago, where even though they have one of the big stars of the NBA, this is a team that is in salary hell and is just going to go absolutely nowhere.
The problem is LeBron, and I hate saying this, and it hurts me every time I have to say this, but LeBron is a more popular name than Kobe Bryant.
But that's not my point, though. No, well, we can agree or disagree on that all we want, but that wasn't my point. My point was that it's similar in that there's a big name star, and it's on a team that's in cap hell, and is not going to be going anywhere. Is not going to be making any significant run to a postseason.
Let me clarify one thing, Nick. I didn't say more likable. I said more on the brand side and more popular. If you're talking about likable, Kobe Bryant is obviously more likable. Now, both of them had their situations. Kobe Bryant was a part of an alleged rape scandal, okay, in Denver. People forget that.
I know that. I know they forget it because he did because he is dead. But honestly, at this point, it's kind of useless comparing the two of them.
No, but I'm just making the point that LeBron is the more brand associated guy.
Yes, LeBron is LeBron trademark, the little TM in front.
Yes,
the little TM you can see.
And the other thing is
the registered trademark of LeBron Inc., also a subsidiary of LeBron Industries.
Right. My point is that $95 million is going to be chump change for the jersey sales, the ticket sales, the sponsors. They're going to make 2-3 times that with him still being there and even not being the LeBron of old.
And even if they give him like a cushy front office job, like the Dolphins were trying to do with Tom Brady, I mean,
well, they got investigated for that apparently.
But the Lakers would do it in a heartbeat if it meant they could still sell LeBron jerseys. If it meant that they could still keep him around as the best players play in Los Angeles,
Nick,
they would do it.
They're going to sell LeBron jerseys even when he's gone. Just think about that, because you know how teams will overdo the amount of inventory they make on jerseys because you don't know how long they're going to stay. LeBron will always be sellable and marketable. And think about if he leaves, you know how much that shit is going to go on eBay and on the internet on auctions when he's not there anymore, and you can't get the jerseys or stuff anymore.
And then after the player leaves, you got to liquidate. All these jerseys must go.
80% off.
They will fly off the shelves.
That's the one name where if you found a Heat jersey or you found a Cavs jersey or you found a Lakers jersey, it doesn't matter. Well, Cleveland fans might have some PTSD, but my point is that the Laker jersey is always going to be the most popular one.
They probably still get a cold sweat at night thinking of Sojourner Silagauskas.
Oh, God. Well, Big Z, as they used to call him down in Cleveland. But my point is, I've never liked Jeanie Buss. I think Jeanie Buss thinks that she's the smartest owner in all the NBA and that she knows. And, well, her father is he still alive? I don't even know.
I don't
think so. No.
Dr. Buss, I think, was his actual name, if I'm not mistaken. But I think she took over.
No, it died years ago.
Oh, I couldn't remember. My point, I know that's bad as an NBA fan, but my point is that she took over the ownership essentially, and now she can make whatever statements she wants. And by the way, she's kind of soiling the Buss name by making statements like this.
She kicked out her own brother for not being able to. Like he said, I'm going to win a championship in 3 years, and when they didn't, see ya. Yeah,
because Jeanie Buss is the biggest ego of the kids in the family.
I'm going to win a championship in 6 months.
I mean,
just keep shortening the amount of time it'll take you to win a championship.
I'll win one in a day.
I'm going to win one in 6 minutes.
Well, if you left it to LeBron, like in Miami, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 1 million.
Technically, all of that can be done if you're playing NBA 2K.
You could simulate and win 1 in 2 minutes. See, I could cheat and make the rules all different.
Exactly.
I don't know. This is stupid. Jeanie Buss should just shut her mouth.
All right, let's get off of basketball. Let's go to the football. We have some baseball to talk about, but we got to talk about week 1. And look, guys, I'm looking up. There's another missed field goal.
Oh, it's kind of funny when every single kicker got the yips.
I mean, this is crazy. Have we ever seen this many missed kicks ever in a week of football?
That's why I said to you guys in our meeting after the games on Sunday, the curse of Blair Walsh, because the week after Blair Walsh got cut by the Vikings, everybody started missing.
By the way, speaking of cut, Rodrigo Blankenship, the Colts kicker, was officially cut.
They cut Blankenship. I can't believe it.
Well, did you see how bad he missed that kick?
And I thought he had that job on lock.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Did you see how bad he missed that overtime kick?
Yeah.
I mean, he missed it by a good 40 to 50 feet to the right.
At a certain point, if I was a GM or a team president come yesterday or Monday morning, I should say, part of me would say, you know what, that's bad. We can't have that again. But part of me would say, you know what, I think there might be something in the water affecting multiple NFL teams. So you know what, I think I'll take it in stride this week.
But you know what? I had to have fun at the end of the intro this week just because you kept saying respect the Bengals, and then McPherson just shanks a kick to the left.
Well, McPherson missed 2 field goals. The first one, however, was not his fault. The first one was a block. The first one, the punt was blocked. That's on the offensive line.
By the way, Iron Eagle was the perfect play-by-play man for that game.
The Bengals Steelers.
Hey, who wants to win this game?
Nobody.
There were 2 things that I did want to bring up, though.
Oh boy, what?
As we recap, the first is the Jets, the second is the Giants. Now, we could do it in whichever order you'd like, but I would like to say my piece. Why is it that the Jets thought that going with Joe Flacco was a good idea?
You suck!
Because
Are you telling me I suck?
No.
he's saying Joe Flacco.
I mean, you should have started Mike White. Why are we starting Joe Flacco, a depressed, decrepit? Wait a minute, a depressed, decrepit, declined quarterback. There's 3 Ds for you right there.
Nick,
which they didn't play, by the way. They played no D.
Time out, Nick, because they didn't want to start a quarterback controversy, as Johnny would say.
Oh, stop it. There's no quarterback controversy. Joe Flacco is a veteran, and Mike White is someone you got off the street for pennies on the dollar.
What controversy? We all know
because of how good Mike White played in the couple of games that he had last season.
I understand that, but the understanding going in with both of them is you're just keeping the seat warm till Cougar Town gets back.
I mean, Zach Wilson shouldn't be on this team. How about that?
I mean, you could play a little defense. Would it kill you to play a little defense though?
What's defense?
Defense. You know what? We need to make a whole row around the stadium with a D and a white picket fence, and maybe they'll actually do.
No. They're defensive formations. They actually line up in a D formation. This is our defense.
They actually thought you were talking about defense, as in the fence. What fence? It's closed.
God, the fence is not open for sale.
But still, also not that I'm gloating too hard here. Because it is just one game, but the Giants managed to steal one against the Titans, making a clown out of me and making
everybody here. Well, thank you again to the kickers of the NFL for completely sucking this week.
I mean, I'm not. Look, this is the first win they've had since. The first time they've had an above 500 record in 6 fucking years.
Since the boat picture.
Since that
Did we really? Wait a minute, and we'll go over the records in a minute or two. But did you really think that I was gonna bet the Jets to win a game?
No.
I still think they're gonna go 0-17 this year.
So, but here's what I'm gonna say about the Giants, because we got into a debate Sunday night and everything. Here's my whole take. I'm happy we won. I will take the win. I'm still not impressed with Daniel Jones. I still need to see more.
That was the luckiest win I've ever seen.
He is still making mistakes that would make rookie.
That interception in the end. That interception in the end zone. That actually would have gotten them. Maybe might have convinced Nick a legitimate win. He had 2 other guys open, and he threw it to the guy who was being covered.
By the way, those 2 touchdowns that he threw were chucks. They weren't good throws. He was chucking the football down the field.
Well, you can thank Sterling Shepard and his amazing hands for that.
Who would have thought Sterling Shepard would have played a role after it seemed like as we were entering week 1, they were saying we are going to go with Tony and Robinson, and Wan'Dale Robinson, of course, now hurt.
Well, it's amazing how the receiving cores get better once you subtract Evan Ingram, but still that.
And by the way,
that's neither here nor there.
You should be saying you're welcome to Randy Bullock, who can't make a kick.
Right.
I need to send that man a basket full of chocolates. I owe him that much.
And by the way, he's no slouch.
He's at least staved off the agita for at least 1 more week.
He hit a 46-yarder in that same game, and it was a 47-yard attempt on that field goal.
And all of us were thinking, okay, the Giants are going to blow it right here.
The 2 flags that they got on the defense in that last drive were going to cost them. But somehow.
You would be excused for thinking that the Giants were going to blow because they've done it time and time again.
Okay, but if we're going to talk about field goals, guys, I want to talk about a couple nights ago. Monday night, Broncos versus Seahawks. So, you are the Denver Broncos. You have Russell Wilson, who has played on that field multiple times before.
Well, wait a minute. Before we go to the field goal, can we talk about the game in sequence first? Because
it kind of was a disappointing game. I'm going to put it that.
No, but you know what was horrible by the Broncos offense? All game, they were good at getting the ball into the red zone. And then they fumbled twice on the goal line. That's unacceptable.
No, it's not. And then the cherry on top, here, let's paint the picture, guys. 40 seconds left. It's 4th and 5. Broncos still have, I think, 2 of their timeouts. It would be like a 62-yard attempt for a field goal. I think, guys, with Russell Wilson, you try for the throw, right? You try to get
absolutely. I mean, did you look at how many 3rd downs he converted on 3rd and mid-range?
Correct.
I don't know what Nathaniel Hackett is thinking there.
Neither do I. And I like Brandon McManus, but Brandon McManus, and I know he has the ability to hit something far, although 62 yards is, you don't really see it all too often, except if you're Jake Elliott or Justin Tucker. But the fact of the matter is, less than a minute to go, Russell Wilson on that same drive is converting 3rd downs. You have 2 timeouts. You go for the throw. You try to get closer. Because, maybe Russell throws it incomplete or throws a pick and it's game over there. But
you have a chance at getting a touchdown there.
Correct. You have a chance at getting it, or at least even getting it closer. You still have 2 timeouts. You can bring it so that way McManus has a 40 to 50-yard shot for a field goal as time is about to expire. What are you doing? Bringing the clock down to 14 seconds and doing the timeout and the field goal there.
Technically, it was 20 seconds. But yes, they brought it down to 20 seconds. They took the timeout with 1 second left on the play clock, not paying attention to it. And then they go out and they make that decision. You wasted a timeout just to do that?
Because he's trying to be smart and it backfired. It's like a magician doing close-up magic, but then the trick ends with you punching yourself in the face.
Well, I don't know. But Nathaniel Hackett looked like an inexperienced rookie head coach. And that team is not a bad team. They have a lot of good pieces on there.
Look, Denver is kind of full of who's that in terms of football talent.
Who that?
Yes, who's that?
Who day?
Not who day, not who dat. It's who's that? As in, I don't know who the fuck this person is.
I mean, congratulations, Broncos country. You took your quarterback into his former home stadium, and you lost to Geno Smith.
Well, you know what though?
Post game too.
Oh, and can we talk about the post game for a second? Because you know what, Geno Smith. And by the way, they got this wrong. They said that he outplayed Russell Wilson the whole game. Incorrect. Wrong. He outplayed them in the first half because Geno Smith did nothing in the second half. Nothing. Zero.
Technically, because he won, you can say that he technically outplayed them, but still, just the fact that he did nothing was not in the second half was not enough to sink them, which I think is really a testament to the Broncos.
The Broncos clearly lost this game last night. Clearly,
I agree.
The 2 fumbles on the goal line is not acceptable. Seattle, by the way, and Seattle's defense is not the 12th man defense that it once was. They were getting stops in the red zone an inordinate amount of times.
Yeah, they were. But I can't blame Geno Smith for mouthing off a little bit because
it's so bad. It's so bad.
Everybody was expecting this game where he and the rest of the Seahawks would be thrown into the meat grinder.
But
and it didn't happen.
And yes, there is that, but it's also one game. We will see next week when the Seahawks play the 49ers. Okay, 49ers. I mean, that's kind of a weak matchup too. But what's the rest of the Seahawks? I'm going to look up now the rest of the Seahawks schedule.
Let's put it this way. Remember how we talked about how Seattle could steal some games at home? Well, this is not a game they were supposed to steal.
My God, look, guys, listen to their schedule the first few weeks.
Oh, God.
Listen to this. Next week is the 49ers, then the Falcons, then the Lions, then the Saints. Okay. Mid-October, it's going to come crashing down. They get Cardinals, Chargers, Giants, Cardinals again, Buccaneers, Raiders. So October, it comes crashing down.
So no, because now the second half of the season is where the guys with the baseball bats jump out of everywhere and start pummeling them.
Yeah. So in other words, Geno Smith is going to be this year's version of Sam Darnold from last year.
Yep, I agree with you on that one. I mean, can we just say Russell Wilson fell to the pressure on Monday night?
That was very unlike that Broncos offense was supposed to be, I hyped them up and they just looked absolutely disappointing.
We all thought they were an obvious cover for that spread. And look what happened.
Well, let me say hopefully it's just 1 week. Hopefully within a couple weeks time the chemistry is more there and they can get things moving.
I don't know if
they don't make any stupid calls, Mr. Hackett.
I'll believe that when I see it. I don't know. What other games did we...
Russell Wilson can't escape. He can't escape. There's dumb decisions like not getting it to Marshawn Lynch in the Super Bowl, and then something like this. He can't escape a coach who makes bad decisions.
Again, I'm not too surprised by that, but Nathaniel Hackett, if he's going to do that all season, he's going to lose his job after year 1. I'm just saying that now.
Yeah, that's not having Brian Dabble levels of balls of steel.
No.
No, definitely not.
They'll take no for 500, Alex.
All right. Let's head a little bit into baseball before we get into the... Oh, we have baseball, and then we have some more football to talk about.
Wait a minute. We're going to get to shit on Rob Manfred again?
Yes. Oh, is it time for It's time for good old Rob Manfred.
Wait a minute. I wasn't prepared. It's time to shit on Rob Manfred?
Batten down the hatches. Drop your pantaloons. Gird your loins.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Yeah, that's accurate.
So, MLB, what was supposed to be our top story for this week before a certain NBA owner did a little certain something that we'd already talked about.
You mean decided to shit himself?
Major League Baseball is going to be changing the rules for 2020 in a way that could potentially change the ways of baseball for a while.
I'm going to do it again because I'm not happy.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Which it specifically means, yes, the banning of the shift, but also the introduction of the pitch clock. So, it's going to be a 15-second pitch clock with no runners on base, a 20-second one if there are runners on base. A violation by the pitcher or the catcher results in an automatic ball for the batter, if it is a batter violation, like they take too much time to get back in the batter's box, it is an automatic strike.
I had a conversation with Hank from Hitting for the Cycle, who also does a show for us, Game On. And this whole thing is like, it's a clown show. It's a circus. It's
actually that's old, isn't it? 8:30 now.
Yeah, that's it's on at 8:30 on the Review and Preview Network. This whole situation is crazy. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. They're trying to change the rules for no reason. And the reason they're trying to change the rules is because, again, Rob Manfred can't brand the sport properly. Think about this. If the sport and the product was worth watching, you shouldn't have to change the rules because, as Nick would say, butts would be in seats.
So
it is worth watching, though. Nobody knows, though.
It's not worth watching.
Well, let me go to it. So pitch clock. So the argument they're making is it's been tested in the minor leagues, and they shaved 15 minutes off games in AAA. They shaved another 5 off in AA. So basically, they're trying to get games to be around 2.5 hours, 2 3/4 hours. Here's my problem with that, guys. We have the National Football League, and their games, their broadcasts last 3 hours.
Yeah, but they're entertaining. That's why.
Well, let me go there. They have the most dead time of any sport. Out of those 60 minutes that the clock runs, it's only about 11 or 12 minutes that there's actual play. There's actual action going on the field.
You know what the difference is, though? The clock is continuously running in the NFL.
Okay, the clock is continuously running. That is fair.
So I think it's also a matter of the fact that the NFL is the more marketable and more popular organization. That's what I said to Hank. I said the NFL is way more. First of all, it's funny because MLB used to be the international sport. Now it's the NFL that you're seeing in Mexico and London and Canada and everywhere.
The MLB, you could argue, has been overtaken by the NFL for the national pastime.
But and by the way, if you add Japan to the NFL, then they'll take over the MLB 100%.
I mean, but again, if Rob Manfred was actually good at his job and good at recognizing the problems and not just arbitrarily fixing things that are not broken, even though I don't actually like the defensive shift, we wouldn't be in this.
We'll get to that.
Would we?
We'll get to that. I mean, you have other things like the bigger bases, which is just hilarious to me because, hey, guys, guess what? We're no longer playing Major League Baseball. We're playing Little League Baseball.
Well, we've got enough room for the players to do a little soft shoe dance.
So we go from 15 inches square to 18 inches square. Ooh, a whole 3 square inches.
Let me point out one thing. It's actually an advantage for the player, not the fielder. There's more circumference to reach the base.
Not my point. My point is, that's gonna really change the game. Ooh.
Well, wait a minute.
Somebody trips up on the thing and breaks it.
Wait a minute. You left out one part. They're gonna put the divider in too.
Again, I'm so shook.
Well, no. Well, I'm just saying the divider technically in Little League is the left side is for the fielder and the right side is for the runner, so to speak.
No, you know what? I think we need to see a mercy rule in Major League Baseball.
We do?
You know what? Look, I'm not a baseball purist by any. I believe in the goodness of baseball.
Excuse me?
I truly believe it. I truly believe that baseball is.
Hold on.
Why the fuck you lying?
I am not lying. I am not lying.
Oh my God! Stop your fucking lying.
You're not. Wait a minute. Hold on. You just said you're not a baseball purist. Says the person who
not a baseball purist. You make the changes you want to make, but these changes are fucking stupid and arbitrary.
You're being a baseball purist right now.
No, it's just make changes, but make the right changes.
Right. That's being a baseball purist.
Make better changes. No, baseball purist would be don't make any changes at all.
Yeah, that's it. I have to agree with Nick Federa on that one. Baseball purists would say no changes, period.
If it was a baseball purist, the leagues wouldn't be.
To be fair, Nick Morgeson, to be fair, Nick Federa was the one who most advocated for the National League removal of the designated. I mean, the addition of the designated hitter of the National League for all three of us.
That was more a health risk than anything for the pitcher.
But it is a change.
but it is a change, and it opens up more employment opportunities for 15 National League teams.
Now, how it relates to something revolving around Shohei Ohtani will probably get as the playoffs come closer and the awards time comes closer.
Well, I could give two shits about the awards, to be honest. I've said that.
Defensive shifts are also not a part of baseball until what's his name?
What? Oh, Joe Madden?
Joe Madden kind of devised it.
Actually, that was Joe Madden when he was with the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah.
When he started shifting.
What were you saying, Tom?
What? Oh, I was just saying about the NL and the DH. I was saying, well, when we get in a few weeks from now, when we're talking about playoffs and awards, and we talk about Shohei Ohtani, like we did right before we started recording, then we're gonna have a whole conversation about the DH again.
I'm telling you right now, if Shohei Ohtani shows up as the most votes for MVP, there's gonna be a riot across baseball.
Everywhere, well, in New York especially, but you know what? LA, I mean, they're going to be gloating. They're going to be gloating.
No, but I'll tell you right now, every Yankee hater across this country, which there's a ton of them, are going to, yeah, Yankees didn't get another award.
Of course. Why do you think they're not going to give it to Aaron Judge?
But again, okay, you know what? Screw it. I'll clear. We're going to have this little talk now. We're going to have this talk. So the problem, yes, I understand. It is the Yankee hate. It is the Yankee hate. But you know what? He won the MVP last year too. And I guarantee you, if he has the season that he's been having these last 2 years, they'll probably give it to him again next year. We are going to have a problem. You know, like the two-way player is, you know, it's something special because we haven't seen a two-way player in so long, ever since the introduction of the designated hitter. But now is going to come the problems that arise. Now comes the curse, because every year the excuse is going to be he is a two-way player. You know, they could give it to Shohei over Mike Trout, his own teammate, because Mike Trout's not a two-way player. They could give, you know, let's not even include the Yankees in this conversation. Let's say Xander Bogaerts stays in the American League and has the season of all season with his new team.
It's not going to matter.
But you're going to give it to Shohei Ohtani because he is a two-way player.
Can I point out some irony, though?
The two-way player is kind of blinding them.
Wait a minute.
Yes, that's my whole take.
I want to point out some irony because you know how we talk about over the years, we talk about gambling, we talk about fantasy sports.
Correct.
If you look in fantasy sports, how is Shohei Ohtani listed?
Well, it depends on league. It depends on.
That's my point. Bring up the one that I'm technically talking about.
Are you talking about Yahoo, in which he is listed twice?
Yes, that's my point. If he's technically listed as two players, because that's what that is, you can draft Shohei Ohtani, the hitter, and Shohei Ohtani, the pitcher. Okay, so he should be considered in both categories separately.
Are you judging him on the hitting, or are you judging him on the...
But Nick, the problem comes with that the MVP, anybody can win the MVP. Anybody can win the most outstanding player.
And I'll go back to the argument I made over the past couple of years.
But you just said it's the most valuable player, not the most outstanding player.
No, my point is that like Silver Slugger awards are offense only. Cy Young is pitching only.
Oh, MVP, let me make that argument. I was going to say, with Justin Verlander, who won the MVP, that was a joke. It was a joke because an offensive player can't win the Cy Young award. That's not right.
So then here's the question. Do we have to redefine these awards?
Yes.
Do we have to have a revisit of the DH again?
I'm just saying I was annoyed when Verlander won the most valuable player award because, again, a hitter can't win a pitching award.
I'd say, or do we have to revisit the possibility of only one league having the DH because, hey, maybe we need to make more room for these two-way players because guess what? They're pretty marketable. And if Rob Manfred knew how to market this game properly, maybe
this wouldn't be an issue, would it?
Well, you're asking for logic, which doesn't exist. I mean, I'll say it again. I said it in the promo. Rob, really out of bounds.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
He's going to get it. He's going to get it, and he's going to get the MVP. And every single new sports talk radio station,
I'm going to tell you right now,
is going to catch fire.
I'm going to tell you right now, there's going to be an explosion of epic proportions if I find that the Raiders voted Shohei Ohtani for MVP. And this is the same argument when Miguel Andujar was up for Rookie of the Year when he broke the doubles record for the Yankees against Shohei Ohtani for Rookie of the Year. Well, he's a two-way player, and that's why he won Rookie of the Year. Shut up.
So I guess if Jameson Taillon could also hit 30 home runs, he'd get it too.
That's what they're saying. That Major League Baseball. Wait a minute. Major League Baseball is redefining what they call a position player and a pitcher.
So then you know what? How about after all this talk about, DHs and all this talk about, making the National League a DH because it's 21st century, but then the two-way play. You know what? How about we just go old school style? You get 9 guys on a team and that's it.
I like it.
How about
I do
that?
like it. You know what?
Guys.
You know what they should do? And I'm going to go back to fantasy for this for a second. We should just call it the flex position.
No. I'm talking about backyard baseball style.
No. But I agree.
Guys, you move people all around.
No, I agree. But I'm saying they should just, instead of calling it the DH, they should call it the flex position. And you could literally put whatever player you want to put in there. I'm serious because they can't define it. Shohei Ohtani, they had to change the rule so that when they took him out as a pitcher, he could stay in as a DH.
The literal utility player.
And you know what? They changed the rule because of him. They wouldn't have changed it for anybody else. Why? Oh, wait, Rob, are you saying that Shohei Ohtani is marketable? Is that why you're changing the rule for the DH? No, he's saying he did it because it helps the game and it doesn't injure pitchers. There's no logic. This is the same guy who said that Rob said to Mike Trout, you need to go market yourself better. That's why this is not working. Think about that. They haven't put him on a video game cover.
Honestly, we're just yelling into the void here.
And by the way, anyone who says that the Angels are a higher market team and that's why things will happen, think about Ken Griffey Jr. in Seattle all those years on the video game covers, crashing into walls. What did Major League Baseball do back in the day? They put him in the highlight reels.
They took his marketability and they ran with it.
He's probably the number one of all time of marketing in baseball. Hey, the say hey kid. He's the kid.
And you know what's the funny part? He never won a pennant. He never won a World Series.
Yeah, but back in the day, MLB knew how to market. And this was before all the social media.
But my point, we make fun of Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani for never reaching the playoffs. But you know what? It's possible. If you market your stars right, maybe we aren't being this harsh.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now, if Shohei Ohtani was in any New York uniform or a Boston uniform or a Chicago uniform, they would be marketing the shit out of him. Especially in New York.
I would say here, like even with Aaron Judge's chase, if Shohei Ohtani were here in New York, if you screw you, Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani would be on all the billboards.
I don't know about that. But first of all, the Yankees already have
both on the same team?
No, but wait a second. Wait.
They were both on the same team.
What I was going to say is the Yankees already have the built-in Japanese market. Think about that. When they had Matsui, they already have the built-in Japanese market. Imagine putting a Japanese player of that stardom back into the Yankee lineup. Can you imagine how much baseball would be on the top of the pinnacle if Shohei was in a Yankee uniform? Not saying it's going to happen, but the marketability of baseball would go back up.
All right. Let's talk about changes, but maybe more for the good. So, MLB has acquiesced. So, last week we talked about how the minor league players were turning in their cards, and it seemed like they were in favor of unionization. And MLB is going to acquiesce. They are going to voluntarily recognize a union for minor league players as represented by the Major League Baseball Players Association.
And this is unambiguously a good thing.
I'm going to put a bookmark on this one because, again, I don't know what the heck's going to happen. Or actually, you know what? I'm going to write IOU because we don't know who's going to win and who's going to owe the other side more money.
And this is something that we've covered a lot. I mean, we've spoken to, I mean, even when we spoke to Anthony Volpe and Austin Wells, I mean, we've covered a lot of how things have started out, have started to gradually improve for minor league players. But you know what? Representation is going to help them, because if you've got happier minor leaguers, they're going to become happier major leaguers.
Well, Tom, I got to give you credit on one statement you made. I think it was last show. How do you go from $400, $500, $600, $700 up to the minimum at $500,000?
Yeah, it really just doesn't make too much sense. Now, of course, the MLB is paying for housing, but I mean, we even saw when with our interview with Volpe and Wells, the housing there, it's not fantastic.
I mean, we saw it. It's essentially 2 or 3 guys. They might be nice. Well, they're nice. They're the Yankees. They're nice dorms.
Okay, yeah, but they essentially are somewhat.
There's 2 or 3 players staying in a house,
right?
And they're essentially behind the stadium. That's essentially where they are. I mean, and basically, we heard it from some of the guys. What are they eating? They're eating Taco Bell and McDonald's.
Their Wi-Fi, as you probably saw if you watched that interview, was
a little spotty, to say the least.
Not their fault, obviously.
No,
but
my point. No, but that's the point. They're not living in the greatest of conditions.
Imagine if they were up in the big league club. Well, we probably wouldn't have gotten the interview. But if they were in the big club and they were doing media, that would have been a hard lock connection.
And think about it. We were talking about the minimum pay like a few years ago for minor leaguers, and we were looking at like when I was working multiple jobs. We're like, hey, wait a minute, we're kind of on the same level. And
again, and I'll say what I said last time. No shot at you, but like athletes make more money. They're supposed to. They're supposed to.
We can have a debate about whether they're.
Yeah, we can have a debate about whether they actually deserve that kind of money. But not to be facetious or anything, but
minor league players work way harder than MLB players.
Oh yeah, it's an absolute grind compared.
Also,
I'm just talking about the societal concept of an athlete making more than somebody who's working really hard in business, and there's a couple of businesses.
It's debatable.
Or if you're a cardiologist or an oncologist,
correct.
Or a mental health professional.
I mean, if you look at a guy like Derek Jeter, who played a 1,000,000% when he was out on the field, I think he earned his money for the most part.
Oh, yeah, he absolutely.
Yes.
But you know what? The fact that we're sitting here debating about who deserves what is kind of what MLB would like you to think about, because it just prevents you from thinking too hard about who actually has all the money in this situation.
Many years ago, I had a debate with my brother about this when I was a lot younger. And I said, you were right. Doctors, life-saving individuals don't make enough money where they should be making. Think about during COVID, when supplies were basically scarce and they were saving everybody's lives. All the idiot MLB players who didn't get their COVID vaccine, who do you think was saving them? These doctors.
Exactly. But it's, I think it's.
There were some players who were still not vaccinated.
Yep.
Ultimately, it doesn't get us anywhere to be arguing about who deserves what. But
first of all, like Tom said, deserve is a relative word in the sense of what's your value. I worked in a business. Now, you guys worked in journalism. I worked in broadcast. In radio, the word deserve is the most relative word in the broadcast business.
Yeah. I think I deserve $5, but you might think I deserve a swift kick in the ass. So
there were times, and I'm not going to say like what I was doing, what I was making. Do you remember how many times I told you the amount of work I was doing at my job, and they treated me like dog shit? I mean, I did way more work than they value, but that's what they value. Unfortunately, that's how the world.
But that's why this is a good thing, because it's minor league players, jointly, collectively realizing we would like to not be treated like shit anymore.
Now, what may be the one downside is that because this is a union being recognized by Major League Baseball and represented by the MLBPA, that this little look into MLB's antitrust to possibly take that antitrust exemption away That's out the window now. That's gonna be there now because
It's going to be gone because now Major League Baseball is supposedly on your side. Now, the point I made to the guys also in our pre-show meetings, minor league baseball wants MLB's letterhead when they're making an argument with stuff. Okay, I mean, excuse me, MLBPA's letterhead, not MLB. MLB doesn't want to help anybody. They want MLBPA's player letterhead because they get better represented. But
Correct.
Here's the issue, though. So they got what they wanted. They voted and they got unionized.
Mhm.
But do you realize where that's going to be on the list of all the issues they're going to be having?
Towards the bottom. we really, maybe things would be a little different if it was its own, like the MILBPA.
Right. But basically, MILB didn't care about where they were on the list. They just wanted to say, oh, look, we're on the MLB union now. You have to listen to us.
They just wanted the players to be represented.
They basically wanted a seat at the table for dinner. That's what they wanted.
Mhm.
That's all they cared about. They didn't care if they were number 1 or topic 2, 3, 4, 5. They're basically topic 1 million on the list.
Yeah, you're basically going to get shoved way down the important list on the commissioner's docket.
I'm telling you right now, if there's another lockout, do you really think they're going to care about the minor league money or the minor league benefits first? No.
That'll be the first thing they cut. That'll be the first thing they try to cut.
Unfortunately, and Nick's right. Unfortunately, they would cut the minor league benefits first. I don't know if they can legally do that anymore now that they're unionized. But
I mean, they shouldn't be able to, but again, these are the kinds of people that we find ourselves dealing with.
And-
You have to pull. They would much rather cut their arm off than have to part with one single solitary dollar.
it all leads back to one thing.
Money.
That seems like a topic that comes up a lot on this show over the years. I mean, just think about it. You got unionized. Woohoo, throw a party. But you're still not going to be treated as well as you think you're going to be treated. Minor league players are still going to be making $400 to $500 a week. And that's it. They're going to have to go out and eat Taco Bell and McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken, basically. And they're not going to get meals. The only time they get a meal, and I joke about this all the time, is when what happens? A player gets hurt on the major league roster, and they go down to AA or AAA for a rehab assignment.
Right.
Because they buy them suits, they buy them food. They basically pay for everything.
When Chris Sale breaks a TV, he gets you a new one.
Or Kevin Brown punches a wall.
All right. I'm going to take a minute. I don't know how much time I'm going to spend on this because I talked about most of this morning with Zan on MMA Outsiders. So go listen to that episode 6 of MMA Outsiders. But we saw a lot of madness heading into this last week with the UFC. So last week was UFC 279. It was originally supposed to be Khamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz. It was Nate Diaz's last fight in the promotion, last fight in his contract, and it was basically going to be, Khamzat Chimaev taking the old dog out back and
taking it behind the barn and shooting it.
Right. And then for the first time, I think in UFC history, there was a press conference that got canceled. And it got canceled because Chimaev and another fighter on the card, Kevin Holland, got into a bit of a scuffle. And then Nate Diaz somehow got involved. And then...
Wait, was that the fight that happened behind the stage?
Yeah, which I think the UFC might be hiding some more footage because that looked really tame, what they showed off.
At least WWE had the balls to admit it's all scripted.
No, but wait a minute.
There actually is a theory after the events of this week that it might have been.
But what does that accomplish?
I don't know, Nick. I don't.
No, I'm just asking. I'm like, what would that accomplish?
Because people are saying that a fight like Diaz versus Tony Ferguson actually ended up being a more entertaining and more popular sounding fight. But if that was the case, why didn't you go with that fight in the first place?
You know what? If you were looking for entertainment that was never going to make it to the ring, you might as well go get Conor McGregor and Jorge Masvidal and have them fight and tussle behind stage. And
Look,
then
if you're gonna do the back, yeah.
After both men are forced to down 10 beers in a row.
Yes, and then you know what? Give Conor McGregor a chair so he can throw it through a bus. And then Jorge Masvidal can go beat somebody up on the street because that's what he used to do before he was a UFC fighter.
Or maybe Connor can just stow away in a bus full of nuns and just punch them all.
Or maybe he could just do another video on a boat and make it deceiving.
But if you're going to thrive on this whole backstage drama and all the stuff that is not the fight in the octagon, you could at least give me either a choice between J.R. Ross and Mean Gene Okerlund. I need Mean Gene to walk me through this.
You know what? You could do like what they did on Family Guy, and this joke came up on Game On as well. You could either take the boat or you could take the mystery box. And you could be as gullible as possible. And I love that scene because it's the best. And Peter's basically like, wait. We have to think about the mystery box. It could be a boat.
I need Jorge Masvidal dressed up as Hulk Hogan, and I need Conor McGregor dressed up as Macho Man Randy Savage. I mean, come on. And I'm talking 80s
and you know what?
Macho Man Randy Savage.
Why don't we just throw Mike Tyson in there, and then you have a great trio?
The man that never met a tassel he didn't want to put on his clothes.
And then Hamza Chimaev just missing weight. I mean,
that's unacceptable. That's like unacceptable in a lot of ways.
He's smirking on the platform, and then the next day, he wins his fight in 2 minutes, and then yells, no joke, I think he yells Allahu Akbar, and it's the day before September 11th in America.
Yeah, that's bad. That's really bad.
He went full heel.
He's doing this shit on purpose because UFC, in the absence of McMahon, UFC is turning into WWE.
Well,
changing the letters of the alphabet and turning into WWE.
Can I ask a question though? And you have to be a real dickweed to miss weight.
Well, it's not so much that it's you see fighters. I'm not very big on it. I'm big downer on it. But you see a fighter occasionally miss by a pound or two. 7.5.
No. I'm talking about that. I'm not talking about missing by a pound or two. I'm talking about you have to be a real asshole to miss your weight by 7 pounds.
Oh, he came off this weekend like a real asshole.
Now, I think I saw you tweeting about it, that you were saying like that he shouldn't get the bonus pools, or who were you talking about?
So the post-fight bonuses, like the performance of the night, the fight of the night, the knockout.
It's incentives, basically, right?
Incentives, yes. So it's about 50,000 for each. But
damn.
If you miss weight, you're automatically disqualified.
Good.
The thing is, he wasn't technically listed as a fighter who missed weight because they changed the card up.
Are you kidding me?
But Dana did not give him a post-fight bonus anyway.
Good.
So that argument's out the window.
Thank God.
But yeah, overall, if you want to hear more about UFC 279, if you're an MMA fan and want me to go more in depth on that, I did so with my co-host Zambando this morning on the MMA Outsiders here on the Untitled Chapter Network. So tune in for that.
Yeah, it's a good show. Go check it out.
All right, let's go to some more NFL headlines before we get to our rapid rundown. So Lamar Jackson self-imposed Friday deadline. Actually, no cha-ching. No cha-ching. You get this.
Well, he did it to himself.
Well, okay, so he was offered a 6-year, $290 million contract ahead of the deadline, his self-imposed Friday deadline, and he rejected it. The reason being is because only $133 million of it was guaranteed, while he was looking for a fully guaranteed deal.
Wait a minute, so that means I was right? Yes! Again!
At the Deshaun Watson contract screwing up the market? Surprise, surprise.
Woo! I mean, I'm going to say it again for people who didn't hear it last week. Deshaun Watson's contract was an outlier. An outlier. And I hate to say this, the Haslams, again, and Nick agreed with me too, the Haslams are the worst owners in all the NFL.
Desperado.
More than Dan Snyder?
Oh, that's... no, Dan Snyder is probably the worst owner in the NFL, but Haslam's a close second.
The Haslams are up there.
I mean, and I'll tell the story again because most people deny it as Cleveland fans. Deshaun was not even considering the Browns at all in the trade market. Because again, he was stuck in Texas where he couldn't get out of there between injuries and the start of the investigations. Basically, he said, here you go, Deshaun. Here's a bunch of money.
It's amazing what a Brinks truck full of money can. It's amazing how that can smooth over all the ideological.
But wait a second. It's not just the Brinks truck full of money. It's a fully guaranteed contract.
Exactly. And so Lamar, I mean, Lamar absolutely, because I wouldn't. Lamar Jackson has nowhere near the amount of personal baggage that Deshaun Watson has. But I mean, you know what? This is the market center. So if you want to keep Lamar Jackson, you have got to put up, or if you have got to shut up. You have got to shit or get off the crapper.
Unfortunately, though, I think the Ravens are going to play hardball through this whole situation. Now, let me clarify one thing. There's going to be a whole list of teams that will give him that money. Whole list of teams.
I have said there will be a team. There will be team. Not, you know what? I'm not even going to go one team. There will be multiple teams.
Whole list. Like I said, a whole list of teams.
Who will be desperate and will be looking for a quarterback that will pay up that money.
I'm thinking of a team in a sunny location that might be getting rid of their quarterback soon.
Well, let's see how the rest of the season goes for Miami. Otherwise, if Miami misses the playoffs and they do get rid of two, absolutely, I agree with you.
Can you imagine Lamar and Tyreek as a combination?
Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. That would be incredible.
That would almost be unfair. It would be almost unfair.
That would give the Bills a run for their money.
And again, Lamar Jackson has every right to be upset in this situation because the Deshaun Watson contract, and I guarantee you, every owner cursed at the Haslam ownership because $300 million. You gave this guy $300 million when he wasn't going to see the field for 11 games. There's no victory here.
And not just that, Nick. Sorry, not just that, but think about the team that he has around him. I have said that the Ravens, in my opinion, are the most overrated team because what receivers does he have?
None.
He lost Hollywood Brown. Rashad Bateman, okay, so far so good, but it's one game.
You play in the Jets.
And you play. There was a game against the Jets, which isn't much of a game at all.
It's the adjusting for inflation of the NFL.
I mean, you were playing just to escape the shit. I mean, I'm going to be saying that a lot this year, but
well, that's actually a good acronym.
I said that all last season.
Said that.
But that's what they are. I want to see the Ravens go up against the Chiefs and the Steelers and the Bengals and a bunch of other teams and see if they're still winning at that easy of a clip.
But if they end up stinking, I mean, it's not exactly his fault, is it?
Well, the only thing that's going to bar him from a contract is getting hurt.
Correct.
Someone will pay him. Someone will pay him.
Someone will. Speaking of playing time, so after all this controversy about Tom Brady and his little 40-day retirement, his supposed fighting with Giselle behind the scenes, so now that he has reached the age of 45, now this reportedly will be his final season.
Do you really expect me to believe that?
All right, I'm taking prop bets here. Which network you think he?
Well, he already has a contract. He has a 10-year contract with
Fox Sports.
He has a 10-year, $350 million contract with Fox waiting for when he's done.
So,
and by the way, the ink is dry on that contract already.
Yes,
because Tom Brady always gets nice things.
Not that he needs that money.
Well, right now he's looking in the mirror, and every time he looks in the mirror, instead of seeing his own reflection, he sees Brett Favre.
No, you know what? He's looking in the mirror and he sees that.
I'm not entirely convinced there's not a portrait of Dorian Gray kind of situation he's dealing with there.
By the way, I wouldn't use Brett Favre's name at all for anything right now, considering if you saw the story about the text messages that got revealed.
Okay, yes. I was just referring to the, I retired. Oh no, I'm going to come out of retirement.
Well, yeah, but you know what? Tom Brady, in my opinion, was a much bigger caliber quarterback than Brett Favre.
Ooh, that's a take.
That is, especially what came out with Brett Favre.
Wait a minute. How many Super Bowls has Tom Brady won?
Yes, I understand that.
7.
And who's the leader on all those 7 wins?
That is absolutely not a preposterous take. It's just that everybody in Green Bay would hate you, but you know what?
How many Super Bowls did Brett Favre win?
No, I agree with you. He is the better quarterback.
I understand.
Tom Brady is the GOAT.
And I agree with you. First of all, Brett Favre will always have a home in Green Bay. Always. Now, of course, he's doing work for Sirius XM, and I think whatever the ESPN Milwaukee station picked him up to do a daily spot. Don't get me wrong. Of course, Brett Favre has been an idiot on some fronts, including a situation when he was with the Jets.
But again, with Tom Brady, I think everything is gravy at this point here. There was no reason for him to come back.
Well,
literally no reason for him to come back.
I think he just fucked up.
Cannot win anymore.
I think he just fucked up his relationship with Giselle, though.
Which he could be heading for a retirement and a divorce.
Well,
it's a double whammy.
I guarantee you he had a prenup. He seems like the guy. He's always a step ahead of everybody.
I mean, it seems like he had a prenup from Bill.
Yeah, that's a good point. Bravo.
Look, I get half the hoodies, Bill. I don't give a fuck what you think.
That was good. Bravo.
All right, who gets my collection of fine china?
Good. Who gets my Super Bowl trophies?
I do. Fuck off. Give me that trophy.
My trophies.
Mine.
That reminds me. Wait a minute. That reminds me of that bad SpongeBob episodes where SpongeBob gets awards for everything, and Patrick's trying to get an award. I want an award.
How about we make this? How about we keep this simple? Tom, you get the 2001, 2, and 4 trophies, and Bill, you get the 2010s trophies.
Would you like these? Spare 2008 Super Bowl champion Patriots.
No, you know what I would give Bill? I'd give him the deflated balls since that's what his balls are like right now.
Oh God!
All right, let's.
Well, he's technically deflated without a quarterback.
Speaking of deflated, let's go to this week's injury list.
This is bad. There's a lot of big names on here.
Yeah, already. Well, Mac Jones, fortunately, seems to just be back spasms. He could be ready for this coming week's game.
The back spasm is like a wrist injury for a first baseman in baseball. Same thing. It's week by week, day by day.
And it's usually and sometimes it's indicative of something else. But still, look at the names we've got. We've got Keenan Allen. We've got T.J. Watt, which that's
a more serious injury.
Well, T.J. Watt. Well, originally it was a torn pec, but they said that basically the muscle. I mean, the muscle never came fully off the bone, so he may be able to return this season. It will just be
he's not going to be 100%.
He's not going to be 100% if he comes back in 6 to 8 weeks' time. Najee Harris, I think, was dealing with something with his foot, but
he's good. Like I heard him do an interview.
Yeah, I heard he's good. Dak Prescott, Keenan Allen hurt his wrist, but he seems like he might be able to go this coming week.
But I thought Keenan Allen had a hamstring injury.
Or was it a hamstring?
They ruled him out already.
Is he out?
Completely? Yeah, they ruled him out already. Because it's a quick turnaround to Thursday. There's no way he's going to be ready.
Because it's Thursday. That's right. I forgot.
And Dak Prescott is out 6 to 8 weeks after breaking his thumb.
Well, there's a lot of conflicting going on there. They're saying it could be 4 weeks, which is, I think, a little too optimistic. I think the 6 to 8 weeks, like you said, is he's going to come back after the bye week.
So get ready for 4 to 6 weeks of the Cooper Rush experience.
I was just going to go there.
It's going to be up to 8 weeks, possibly.
8 weeks of the Cooper Rush experience.
And they're going to be horrible, and everyone's going to be, and you know what's going to happen. Jerry, how about them Cowboys? Cooper Rush is the best. We're going to do great.
Would you like to hear what I'd like to say about my quarterback, Cooper Rush? No, Jerry, no one wants to hear about Cooper Rush.
I'm going to do it anyway.
Fuck Cooper.
If Dak is out for 8 weeks,
it's over.
The Cowboys are actually going to miss the playoffs, and you know what's the only thing Jerry Jones is going to be saying? Mike McCarthy, you're fired.
Just like Green Bay.
Why can't you manage a clock right?
That was bad. That was really bad.
And then poor Elijah Mitchell, who's going to be out 8 weeks. And gentlemen, the curse of the San Francisco running back continues.
I mean, hey, now Trey Lance can actually use his legs to do something useful.
Jerry can actually do the firing thing like this. Hey, Mike, how about them Cowboys? You'll never find out because you're fired.
We'll get Donald Trump on the phone. You're fired. This is going to end poorly. The Cowboys are screwed. Even if he's out 4 to 6 weeks, they're not winning. Actually, Tom, can you pull up that schedule for the Cowboys?
You want me to pull? Okay, the Cowboys 2022 schedule. So they obviously played the Bucks this past weekend. This coming weekend, they're playing. Oh, look! Don't disrespect the Bengals.
If we're talking logically, the Bengals better win that game.
Yeah, and then they get to play Monday Night Football against the.
That's the game we're doing. That's the game we're going to be doing the live stream for.
That actually looks like a possibility for a Giants win now.
By the way, if you're looking for a great live stream, we're still finalizing the details. We might have some people from Review Preview Network joining us for that.
October 2nd then is the Commanders. October 9th is the Rams. October 16th, Sunday Night Football against the Eagles. October 23rd is against the Lions.
The only 2 games I've counted so far, the Lions and maybe the Commanders.
October 30th is the Bears, so there's another. Then they get their bye week, and then it's Packers, Vikings, then the Giants again on Thanksgiving.
So they're
going to be out of it. They're going to be out of it before Thanksgiving.
I've got a feeling now the Giants could actually take at least one of these games now against the Cowboys.
All right, so they take one of the games. Big deal. So they win one more game.
No, but I'm not saying that great on the Giants. Okay, maybe a little bit of bias there, but I'm saying that's bad for the Cowboys. The Cowboys were supposed to be a team that was going to sweep the Giants series.
They were supposed to win the fucking division.
Well, as long as everything went okay.
Well, now that Dak is going to be out for a couple of months, it's clearly an Eagles division now.
By the way, you see why Jerry was so hesitant to give Dak the contract? Because he can't stay healthy.
Yeah, but you know what? Amari, they let go to Cleveland, and that was, and I think it was Schlosser who pointed it out, that basically they traded Amari Cooper to Cleveland before Jacksonville went on their little shopping spree and giving ridiculous contracts to the likes of Zay Jones. Imagine what more they could have gotten had they waited. Dallas is a mess at this point.
Because Dallas thinks Jerry thinks, I shouldn't say Dallas Cowboys, I should say Jerry, because it's really Jerry's world over there. Jerry thinks he knows everything. And you know what? I was saying this again to Johnny from Game On, that it seems like Jerry needs a place to vent. That's what because he's the owner. No one's going to turn down his interview or his sound bites.
Just talk to the guy who lives in his mirror. That works.
Oh, that's a little scary. But that's it. All he wants is a place to speak. Even if all he has to say is, how about them Cowboys? That's it.
We're gonna next find him saying, "How about them Cowboys?" as he's sobbing to himself in the mirror while eating ice cream.
No, but I was gonna say, how about them Cowboys? Cooper Rush is better than Dak Prescott. I'm going to the Super Bowl.
He just goes crazy, and you find him on a farm, and he goes, "How about them cows?"
Well,
how about them boys?
How about them cowgirls?
How about that rapid rundown? Week 2.
Woo! It's that time. Wait. It's that time.
So we're standing so far after 1 week. I am at 8.5 points. Nick Federa is at 9.5 points, and Nick Morganson is at 9 points.
All right, I'm right in the middle. Okay.
Congratulations, Nick Federa, for proving us wrong during that season opening game that the Bills came to play.
I'm not going to gloat about it because I'm often wrong about these things, so I'm just going to keep my little.
Take your victory. Take your victory.
Nope, he doesn't want to.
I'm going to end up paying for it at the end of the season. It's going to come in the form of a Giants game. So.
By the way, the Rams just embarrassed themselves on opening night. They did. Matt Stafford looked horrible.
Let's go through what we've go through what we've got.
Okay. The first Thursday night football game on Amazon Prime.
Oh, goody.
Well, we could talk about streaming all one, but this is a big one. It's Justin Herbert and the Chargers going to Arrowhead for a divisional game against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs.
This is a good one. This is a really good one.
So the Chargers looked pretty good against the Raiders. I think there was
5 touchdowns.
5 touchdowns, but I think some on the defensive end, there's still things that need to be worked on. Patrick Mahomes, him and Kelsey seem to just be themselves. And this game is in. So I think the Chargers have the possibility that they can take a game from the Chiefs this season.
Keenan Allen's out, though.
Keenan Allen is out, and it's an Arrowhead. And Arrowhead is tough to play. So I'm gonna say Chiefs cover.
If Keenan Allen was playing the game, this would be a whole different discussion in every way, shape, or form.
Chiefs cover. Take the money, everybody.
Yeah,
take the money.
Take the money. With Keenan Allen out, you can't. It's not even.
All right, let's go from that amazing game. Let's kick off the Sunday games now with shit and shit. Jets versus Browns. The Browns are a 6-point favorite, and honestly, if the Browns are able to win with Jacoby Brissett against Baker Mayfield and the Panthers, controversy aside with the fake spike that should have been penalized.
Oh yeah, that rule that the NFL referees got completely wrong.
The Browns better not lose this game because
they better not. How you know what? But I think 6 might be too much. It's with shit and shit. I'm not sure if they cover.
I'm gonna you're right, which is why I'm taking the Browns at 3 instead of 6.
I'm gonna say Browns, but no cover.
Nick, you don't have to give a number. You could just say whether it's covering or not.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Browns no cover.
But no, they're gonna cover. The Jets are so delusionally bad that there's no way they're going to win. Jacoby Brissett is going to somehow throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's going to look like the next coming of quarterback Jesus.
And the next, and the final court, and the final football he throws is going to end up coming right into your living room, Mr. Morganson.
Exactly. So yeah, they're going to cover
right through your window.
Take the money.
And actually, you know what? I'm looking at these games. And some that I'm not so confident in, and some that I
looked at some of the spreads. There's 3 or 4 double-digit spreads this week.
I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to use my bench lock yet, just because I said they're not going to cover. I don't know. I want a game that I'm confident in.
I wouldn't use it on here, and I'm telling you as a Jet fan, I wouldn't use it.
All right. We're going to move on now to the Washington Commanders taking on the Detroit Lions. The Lions... for as bad as they were getting it against the Eagles, Jared Goff and company always knows how to fight back at the end, even if they fall short.
The Eagles almost shit this one away. I have to say, though. Go ahead. I
was going to, and against the Commanders, Lions 2.5, I could actually buy that. I could actually buy a Lions win here.
I'm buying into that, too, so I'll take that spread.
You know what's scary, and I hate it, is that Carson Wentz somehow managed to win that game last week. And now everyone's like, wow, Carson Wentz can actually do something.
It's fool's gold. It's an illusion. It's a mirage in the desert.
And first of all, the Commanders should have lost to the Jaguars last week. They should have lost.
Yeah, they should have.
But I don't know why I keep forgetting the quarterback's name in Jaguars.
Trevor Lawrence.
I don't know why I keep forgetting, because he's so unforgettable. I mean, he's so forgettable because, again, he makes throws behind all his wide receivers and misses badly. But again, I don't know why they won that game, but I'm going to take the Lions. I actually think the Lions are going to be a sneaky good team. They're not going to be great, but they're going to compete in a lot of these games. But take the money.
They're going to look better.
Take the money.
All right. Divisional matchup time. Buccaneers -3 traveling to New Orleans to take on the Saints.
By the way, the Saints managed to somehow again come from behind in a victory last week. They shouldn't have won last week, but they did.
I'm going to take the Bucs by that spread. Sounds about right to me.
I say take the money.
Yeah, I mean, Jameis Winston is concerning to me. Everyone thinks he's like this next coming, like he's going to be great now that he's back. How do you go against Tom Brady? In this situation, you don't. There's a few situations I wouldn't, but in this one I would. I would take the money on this one.
Yeah, take the money. All right. Panthers and the Giants. The Giants are a 2.5-point favorite. Now, this can go one of two ways, knowing the Giants' luck. They could blow it. They could crap the bed. Or, considering how they managed to beat a more legitimate team that I think actually could win the AFC South this season, maybe the Giants could actually pull it off against Baker Mayfield, who I can't believe, the Panthers kind of didn't look all too great against Cleveland, and it should have been a lot better.
This is going to be a thing where Danny's flaws come back to bite them in the ass. So I'm going to take the Panthers.
You're going to take the Panthers?
I mean,
here's what I'm going to say. Here's what I'm going to say. Well, you're going Panthers too,
Morrison? Well, what I was going to say was the Giants were supposed to have their luck game this week, where they were going to pick up on Baker being high on a victory against the Browns. I think Baker's going to be more upset that he lost to the Browns. I think there's going to be more momentum coming into this game. The Giants got a luck victory last week, which they shouldn't have gotten.
But you know what? They got the Jaguars and the Texans and the Seahawks and the Bears all coming up. Panthers aren't in that category. They're a little above that. But you know what? If that tells me that I can believe. I don't know if they're a playoff team yet, and I still don't believe in Daniel Jones. I doubt they're a playoff team. But you know what? I'm going to choose to believe this week. I am going to take the money and go Giants over Panthers.
I'm going with Nick. I'm going against the spread. I think the Giants caught a victory and they should be happy, but it's going to come back to bite them this week.
Patriots versus Steelers. Patriots are a 1.5 favorite. Remember when this used to be a really good game? Remember when this used to be the battle of the AFC Titans?
Well, that's when it was Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes.
But now we've got Mitch Trubisky and we have Mac Jones, question mark?
By the way, a game for the ages last week between missed field goals.
Yeah. So you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. The Steelers actually look confident we're able to compete with the AFC North champions and AFC champions. The Patriots struggled really bad. I still believe the Patriots, it's just one bad week, but they looked really bad. Like the level Johnny was talking about in our NFL preview. So you know what? I didn't go upset with the Giants. I'm going to go upset here. I think the Steelers get it at home. I go against the spread and take the Steel City.
I am as well.
I must be in a different mood this week. I'm taking another upset this week. Yeah, I mean, the Steelers look shockingly good. I was a little surprised. The Patriots were shockingly bad. Yeah, I mean, and Mac Jones and this is not his first injury either. I mean, back spasms are a quarterback's worst nightmare. If you can't move around in the pocket, you're screwed. So
nothing makes sense anymore. Up is down, down is up, forward is sideways, and
I'm going to take the Steelers to cover that spread. To take it, take the point.
This was one where we say don't take the money.
Yeah, don't take the money on this one.
Let's go to the Colts at the Jaguars. The Colts, I mean,
this is a rematch of the playoffs last year. Going to the playoffs.
Week 18. The Colts lost to the Jaguars last season, got Carson Wentz basically cut, and the Colts missed the playoffs. It was the end of the Colts' epic collapse. I think the Colts, though, with Matt Ryan, as they looked last week, they are still a much better team than the Jaguars and a much better team than the Colts of last year. Take the money.
Take the money.
Yeah, it's the Jaguars. I shouldn't have to say anymore. Take the money. And by the way, Blankenship being cut, I mean, I thought he was a great kicker. I didn't realize that they were going to hold a 50-foot miss to the right as a reason to cut somebody after week 1.
So you know what? Don't be surprised if one of us takes an emergency flight to Indianapolis to try out for the team.
I mean, actually, did you see that they signed a cornerback in place of for the roster spot?
I mean, they might even try me as kicker. My legs don't even work right.
Wait, didn't the Steelers, was it last week where, coming off week 1, they had someone else as a kicker kicking at one point?
Are you thinking about the Bills with Matt Araiz?
No, I thought the Steelers had. It's not important, but yeah, take the money on this one. This is obvious.
Okay, interesting matchup next. Dolphins Ravens. Ravens a 3.5 point favorite at home.
Hey, this is a battle of the two teams we were talking about.
Mm-hmm. And the Ravens looked decent against the Jets, but you know what? I do like this Dolphins team. You know what? Screw it. I'm going upset. Give me Miami.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the Ravens by that spread.
The Dolphins look so good in week 1. I mean, that's a standout victory when you're beating the Patriots. I don't care how good or how bad they are. I must be. There must be something in the water this week. I'm taking the upset.
Because Jalen Waddle fought solid gold. That's why.
Yeah, but Tyreek looked amazing in week 1. He did. And Tyreek and him, they must have chemistry right off the bat. They look really good. They have everything in line. I don't know if I trust the Ravens, like Tom said. They don't have a receiver core. They don't.
All right. Falcons at the Rams. The Rams, okay, so this sounds like an easy matchup on paper, and we'll all predict the team correctly. However, a 10.5-point spread. Those double-digit spreads are...
Tom, this is not even a discussion. This is not even a discussion.
I mean, they only lost by 1, the Falcons, via choke job.
I'm going to use my bench lock on this one.
Oh, okay. Well, obviously you're taking the money, right?
Yes, it is close to a sure thing as you can get this week.
All right, Tom.
Okay, so the Falcons must have a bunch of little kids that are on the team because they are a choking hazard.
Ouch.
I am going to go with the Rams. I am also going to say take the money. But there is another matchup I have on my mind that I'm going to use the lock for.
Oh, well, yeah, I'm just going to take them on the spread here because double-digit lines on the bench lock are tough. So just take the money.
Seahawks, 49ers, again, -10. 49ers. You know what? I think Geno Smith's little rant is going to run out here. I think the 49ers, it was just a bad week last week. I'm going to go 49ers. However, due to both teams' poor play, no cover. I'm just going 49ers.
Me too. I'm not taking that cover either. I don't trust it.
I mean, that's a big line. A touchdown, a field goal favorite. I mean,
and 2 crappy teams.
I mean, well, you had the slot bowl going on last week in Chicago, which didn't help.
Okay, he's not. He's
not. Trey Lance is the starter, but
Trey Lance. But yeah. I mean, Chicago. That's the other thing I forgot to mention at the start of the show. Chicago. My God, you got to take care of your field, or you.
I mean, you saw the puddles on the top of the sod.
Pathetic.
How often do you see that?
I mean,
by the way, did you? I don't know who I was talking to. If I was talking to you guys or to Johnny, did you see the penalty that was given in that game
for wiping?
For wiping the field
down.
It was an unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, well, I think it was us because I said maybe it has to do with that 19. I think it was 82 thing where they brought out
the snowplows.
The snowplows, yes.
It's kind of ridiculous. And there was a bunch of NFL analysts like, well, we didn't even know that was a penalty. And I'm like, I guess it's in the rule book. I don't know. I mean,
these are the things that Trey Lance is going to have to deal with.
But come on, Nick. That field was an abominable disgrace.
It was.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I agree with you,
Morganson. I need an answer.
Oh, I'm with you guys. They're going to win, but the spread is too high. So there's no covers here.
Bengals at the Cowboys. The Bengals are -8 favorite. Gentlemen, don't disrespect the Bengals. And after the treatment that I just got because of that loss to the Steelers last week, and because the Cowboys are going to be doing the Cooper Rush experience, gentlemen, I am locking Bengals taking the money. That is my lock for this week.
Oh, really?
I'm going with that.
You see the money, take it.
How many more games do we have left? Because I haven't even used mine yet.
We have 5 more after this.
There are some good ones here. I think I'm going to hold it. I'm going to take the money here. I mean, I'm praying to God that Joey Burrow has a better game than he did last week. 4 picks and a fumble. It doesn't get any worse than that. Now, could he still be recovering from the appendectomy that he had in the preseason? I don't know. I still like Jamar Chase. I think he's one of the best. I like Mixon.
Ultimately, it's not going to matter because it's going to be a face bashing anyway.
Hey, bad team Cowboys.
Texans at the Broncos. The Broncos are a -10 favorite.
I'm a little scared, actually.
I am scared. I am. I might go Broncos, but no cover. I actually might go no cover here.
You're thinking what I'm thinking.
Well, the Texans are going to be one of the worst teams in football, though, even though they tied last week.
I mean, I think we're wildly overestimating the Broncos or wildly underestimating the power of Davis Mills. So.
Well, wait a minute. Didn't he get replaced at one point last week? They were using the backup quarterback at one point also.
Which says something because we didn't even notice.
So here's the thing, like this matchup might be one to use the lock on. There's also Sunday night or the Monday nights. But the thing that I used on the Bengals Cowboys is that's only an 8-point spread. That's less that the Bengals have to do.
Yeah, this one's tough.
It's pretty clear we're all going Broncos. It's a matter of just are we going with this spread or not?
I'm scared because the way the Broncos played, having 2 fumbles on the goal line, and they didn't. If they're going to be like that in the red zone all year, they're not going to win games.
Yes, you know what? I'm going to go no cover.
They're going to win. I think we can all agree they're going to win. It's just a matter of, and I think that it's a high number. It's definitely a high number, no doubt. I'm going to go under that number. They're going to win, but I'm not. That's a large cover.
All right. So no cover, everybody?
No cover.
No cover. Okay. Cardinals versus Raiders. Raiders are a 5.5-point favorite at home.
This is actually a sneaky good matchup. Believe it or not.
And honestly,
still no
Hopkins.
No Hopkins.
Still no Hopkins. Kyler
looked kind of lost last week.
I think I might actually go with the Spider 2 wide banana.
God.
Take the money.
I'm going to do that too. No Hopkins, no win.
I mean, when Hopkins comes back in 6 games, even when he comes back in 6 games, because again, when you don't play for 6 games, you have to work your way up. But yeah, take the money. I actually have Derek Carr, unfortunately, in fantasy, but I think he'll be better.
Sunday Night Football. We got Bears versus the Packers. Packers -10 at home.
Ugh. The Packers scared me last week.
They did. They did, but
they should have won. They should have won last week.
Hey, you know what? It made my father happy, so I'm not going to complain.
But you know what though?
But I think this is a problem without a couple of his tackles, without a true wide receiver one. Rodgers looked kind of lost.
Still, it's the Bears, so I'll take the Bears. But
is Lazard back? Is Lazard back?
I don't know.
That makes a huge difference. I know that it's the Bears, but it makes a huge difference.
All right, let me look. Hang on.
So, Aaron Rodgers kind of concerned me in the press conference after the game. Basically, well, I know you guys were going to call me out and blah, 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 and Packers and basically...
RELAX.
I mean, he was telling everybody to relax.
Currently, not much is being said about Lazard's status for week 2.
Which basically means questionable.
Questionable.
I know the Bears are bad. All right, fine. You talked me into it. I think for now, I think they will cover, but we'll see what happens.
There you go, Packers. Everyone go and take the money.
Yeah.
All right. 2 Monday night games. One at 7:15, one at 8:30. The 7:15 one is on ESPN and will feature the Titans traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills, who are a -10 favorite at home.
I'm gonna go right off the bat here. This is my bench lock.
Yeah, I was gonna say here's your lock. It had to be.
Yeah, this is my lock because the way Tennessee looked last week. Oi!
The mistakes they were making.
Well, not even that. Derrick Henry looked awful. I mean, he's going to win them or lose them games.
And the fact that they don't have AJ Brown as in their receiving core is
that was probably the worst trade the Titans ever made. And the Eagles are saying, thank you.
But it's going to be the Bills. I'm sorry. But it's going to be. Yeah.
This is my lock. I looked at this game and I circled it. And I said, because the Titans, everyone thought the Titans were going to be halfway decent, but Tannehill kind of scares me. Derrick Henry, will he stay healthy? Who knows? And they don't have a wide receiver core. There you go. I gave you 3 checks. Take the money, and this is my lock.
All right. And then on ABC, on your local ABC station at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, the Vikings will travel to Philadelphia to face the Eagles. The Eagles are -2 favorites.
This is good. This is really good.
This is one
a
of
game.
the most. This is a matchup of the week.
And this is the one where I'm gunning for the upset. So I'll take the Vikings.
Whoa.
I think the Vikings look great, but you know what? The Eagles almost blew it to the Lions. So,
and when that happens, Justin Jefferson is going to run roughshod. All he's gonna be catching balls from the stands.
Did you watch Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown?
I understand that, but again, they almost blew it.
Yeah, but I always put week 1 in the wash because again, no one plays preseason games.
You know what? Nick Morgeson and I believed in the Vikings when you didn't, and now it's your turn to believe. I am believing in the Giants when you two aren't. So you know what? I'm gonna go with the Eagles. I have been riding the Jalen Hurts. I've been riding the Jalen Hurts train all of the last 2 seasons on this show. I don't know if it's been now that he has AJ Brown. I don't know if I can get off that.
I've got nothing against Jalen Hurts. It's just I'm biased.
Well, and by the way, I hate Jalen Hurts. I don't like his game, but in this case, he looked really good. I have to admit it. He looked good in the first game. With him and AJ Brown are going to be a tandem to come for a long time, in my opinion. So I'm taking them to cover.
All right, and that is the episode. So
Woo!
Make sure to hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe, ring that bell, get notified for all the shows here from Empty the Bench, Game On, MMA Outsiders, Beyond the Bench, Living Life, Fruity Cereal,
and more.
And make sure to follow us across social media at ETB Sports. Make sure to follow the network also on social media at ETB Network. And you'll see our social media scrolling across the bottom there. As we get set to close things out, make sure to subscribe here, youtube.com/ETB Network.
Whew. Almost another 2-hour episode. How do we keep doing this?
I don't know why.
You know what? Football season, it's harder because you have to get through the recaps of the week before, and then you have to do the new week. Well, it also didn't help that Robert Sarver decided to implode on the NBA.
Oh, God.
All right. For Nick Morgeson, Nick Federa, I'm Tom Albano, and we will see you next week. Take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody!
Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week.